look at dual types, it almost seems like, at least to me anyways, when with extroverted sensing, like I'll get concepts in my head about what it looks like, but then when I see it in like a dual type, it's almost like, okay. It's like, I think because we're seeking it and like we're not actually embodying it, it's like once we actually see it, it seems like, secret option, C. It's like the thing we hadn't clearly, like in our sort of our normal operations, we're not going to that place since we're seeking it. So it's like when we actually see it, it's like, I was like, I don't know. I feel like it can catch me off guard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was with my ISTJ, it's I don't know. It's kind of like I have an expectation of what the relationship is, but then when I actually meet with them at the beginning of the relationship, I all all the information that I've learned about how you should behave, um, how a relationship should function based on what society expects, um, covers up like everything I've learned from socionics, and I would kind of behave what I think, um, what I should behave. But then as we spend more time together, like I don't know, we naturally mesh. Everything just connects, and it becomes really comfortable to be with my dual. Um, so you were saying like you have like an idea of what your dual should be like, and in real life it doesn't actually I don't know,
Well, I
match
was going
your
to say that like it
expectations.
doesn't line up necessarily like in a bad way. It's just that because because my concept of like extroverted sensing is limited and like in the sort of suggestive position, and it's like to see it actually manifest is different than what I might conceptualize in my head. Um, so yeah, I guess that's all I was saying.
Right. Mm. What is your concept of a dominant SE?
Well, I thought sort of my concept is more dulled. I think I had it in my head that it's like, oh, it's somebody who would motivate me to go out and do stuff, or just like whatever, would look to have fun. But it's like I think what's funny is when I do tap into SE, it helps in I, and that like I feel like the axis is sort of fulfilled, and I feel a lot more. I feel like when I'm by myself, just sort of hanging out, I dabble more in sort of TI driven, like NI or something like that, where it's more like imagination oriented and it's more speculation and there's different things like that. But there's like this sort of wordless voice or something that I feel like I can tap into with NI when it's being directly connected to SE and not going through these other forms of like communication, or like with TI or FI, like trying to seek like nuance of either logic or emotions or things like that. It's like there's a lot more being. There's a lot more just like actually. In a lot of ways, I feel like it's directly connected to being present. At least for me, I'm not saying that SE is being present necessarily,
Right.
because
I get you. Yeah.
because I feel like for an ESTP, what would help them be present is to also connect with the NI portion of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if you're NI dominant or SE dominant, just to use my duality as an example, then you're skewed one way or the other, and you're not entirely present to what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of, I see that.
Yeah, when I'm with the ISTJ, we connect on a SI and E level, so it's like a perceiving level, if that makes sense. We just experience life. There's not a lot of judgments. If that, like we enjoy just the fact that we can live life together. Hmm.
Yeah. Seems like NISE, in ESI, there's more of that like enjoyment focus on things.
Yes, it'll be
Whereas,
like how it works is like, for me at least, I think, like partially it works. We enjoy physical sensations,
mhm,
not
I'm
just
sure you do.
comfort, just any positive physical sensations. And
Uh-huh.
then any would be like trying to find more
Yeah.
ways to get more sensations. And then so just on that level, like we can just enjoy life.
I feel like certainly does appeal to me in some ways, but I feel like probably where I would feel the most fulfilled is in a more conquering sort of mindset. Not necessarily saying that I'm going to go about that
Oh,
all on my own, but what I mean by that is like a sense of overcoming, like
yeah.
being in the process of like achieving or in the process of fulfillment, like seeking fulfillment or something like that. It's um, like there's a, like, I guess for you, you're talking about more like the fulfillment comes from like the enjoying process of something.
Can I give it a shot
Yeah,
on what SE and NI is?
yeah,
Um, I find that SE is, yes, it is conquering things like you said, but it's like actively meeting the challenges in the moment and then doing it successfully. And then NI is sort of like seeing what you will need to conquer eventually, because your path is already set in front of you. So SE and I will be very future oriented. Mm. Okay.
yeah. 'Cause I feel like see, in my head, it's like there's I feel like I was gonna say that there's more nuance to it, but I don't think it's necessarily nuance. It's that whole NI thing. It's like I'm wanting to. There's something implicit that I'm trying to pick up on. Um, but yeah, it's more like I almost see it more as like you were talking about like meeting challenges. I almost see it more as like when you're meeting the challenge, it's almost like the challenge being met isn't where I feel alive necessarily. It's but it is something about meeting the challenge. And this is more where I see the NI half of NISE is like the SE is the meeting the challenge, the capacity to be a physical agent in existence, to not just be a sort of ethereal sort of ghost floating around, but to be vital and be present. I feel like the NI portion of that is fuck. I just had it in my head. God damn it, it was good. Yeah, it's gone. I lost it. Try to remember.
No, it's okay.
Extroverted sensing is meeting the challenge. I was going to say meeting the challenge. I see it more as like a ritual that opens up. And like when I say ritual, it's like if you think about it, like and again, not quite saying this like Michael would, but I use words like spiritual or stuff like that. I'm using them as poetic.
Is your NI sacred?
It's I'd only label it as sacred as much as I would use sacred as a descriptor of what is implicit. So as far as sacred goes,
implicit. Okay.
The closest thing, I guess, in truth, the closest thing that comes to being sacred for me, and I'm not talking about like religious laws or something like that. I'm talking about actually feeling like close to some sort of vital essence of the universe. The closest thing I get to sacred is implicit. The sort of ineffable or somehow finding a way to share and translate both experience and then share with others aspects of the incommunicable is sort of how I would label it. No, I was going to say sort of it's like a ritual, like meeting the challenge opens up or it helps me open up to sort of the greater truth as it is.
Yes. I found that, I noticed that SE, even like SE DOMs, they value implicit meaning in conversation.
SC dumps or SI?
Like SE DOMs, SE secondary, I've seen ISFPs, ESTPs, ISTPs. Like they're not intuitives, but I noticed that compared to like say NE DOMs, NE valuing individuals, we like to explicitly communicate our ideas, whereas NI valuing people, they prefer to say things implicitly, communicate their ideas implicitly, and usually it's so that the idea is communicated between individuals. Like they take, it's almost like a game. I don't know. They enjoy saying things that only 2 or maybe even 3 people understand, but the rest of the group does not pick up on it. Any valuing individuals, we don't tend to do that. We kind of say what we want to say when it comes to ideas.
I've been on here for quite a while. I got to go to work here soon, so have to, take care of my physical body, all that stuff.
Yeah, just go. You want to leave? Just go.
Yeah, well, I don't want to leave. How? It's fun talking. I have to.
Okay.